Welcome everybody, welcome to Homestead Heart, and today we are canning butter. So as always, y'all, grab your canners, grab your canning supplies, grab your butter, grab your jars, and let's do this. All right, so before we get into the video, y'all go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our homesteading journey. Okay, we have so much coming to share with you all this season, so y'all make sure y'all stick around for that. So hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we will be uploading to our channel. All right, now supplies. Grab your canning stuff. I have my jar lifter, my little magnet, my funnel. I have my lids simmering over here in this pot right here. I still simmer my lids. I don't care what balls say. And I have my jars sitting in my oven. I have my bands hanging on my oven door. And my oven is set at 225, 35 degrees, something like that, just to keep the jars hot, because we are going to be canning some hot butter. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get the butter part. Let me show you what butter I'm using, okay? I'm using the Great Value brand butter. I like using this brand of butter because it just seems to work better for me. I've attempted to can the expensive butter. LOL. I've attempted to can that butter and it didn't quite work out. It wasn't good. I mean, it was kind of like I don't know, it just didn't do good, you know? So I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to the tried and true, what I've been canning, and that's this Great Value butter. Now, you can can salted or unsalted, or you can do like I'm doing, which is canning an equal amount of each one. I'm doing 6 pounds of salted, 6 pounds of unsalted. And the reason being, sometimes the salt can get so intense once you can it. You don't want it to be too salty, and sometimes it could be a bit grainy if you have just the salted butter, right? I mean, it's still good now, don't get me wrong, it's still good, but I like it when I mix the unsalted with the salted. It gives it a perfect balance. I love it. And I'm down to my last jar of butter. Y'all, what is the date on this? June 8th. This is salted only. June 8th of 2015. So this butter is just at 5 years old. And it's my last one. And I'm probably going to be opening it. Let me see. I don't know. I might not need to open it for another week or so, you know, but I'm canning more of it now. And you see how beautiful it is, right? Isn't that gorgeous? This is 5 years old and it still looks as beautiful as the day I canned it. So I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to go ahead now so we can get started with our butter. Now we have the hardest part of this process out of the way. Okay, so as you can see, I have a pretty big stock pot right here. I got it from Walmart. It wasn't no expensive pot. So I got my pot here on the stove. I'm not gonna turn the fire on yet. I'm gonna go ahead and open up all of my butter and just get it put in here, okay? Almost put the paper in there. First of all, let me interrupt this scheduled program to advise you that there is not an approved canning recipe for butter with any of the federal government sites, canning sites, or the, what is that, the National Canning something or other. There is not an approved recipe for canning butter, okay? I just want to let you know that. You're not going to find it in the Ball Book Guide to Canning. You're not going to find it in these recipe books for canning, okay? However, people have been canning butter for decades. And you can go to the supermarket and buy canned butter. Yeah, you can. So if you can it, just know you're doing this at your own risk, okay? But don't worry, because it's easy and I've canned it for years and I have never had a problem, okay? Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. A lot of butter in the pot already, and I still have a lot left over on the counter. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn my fire on medium low. Actually, I'm going to put it on low because I want to start the butter to melting without burning my butter. And I got my really long wooden spoon here to be able to constantly stir this until the butter melts enough for me to add in the remaining butter. Now this is going to be a long process because the butter has to melt slowly, okay? You cannot crank this up or you're going to burn your butter, and who wants to can burnt butter? Make sure you got this baby down on extra low, as low as it'll go. Get this butter in here. It's already starting to melt. So get this butter in here and let this baby do what it's got to do, okay? Okay. Do y'all see how the butter is beginning to melt now? It's all beginning to melt. And I'm just giving it a turn. Ooh, Oops. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to clean up that butter splash. I'm just giving it a turn. And that's just to keep it from sticking, moving it around. But like I said, my fire is on the lowest setting that it will go on, because I want to make absolute certain that my butter does not stick. And as you can see, it is melting, okay? But I'm gonna give this a stir, and I'm gonna let it keep stirring, let it keep on melting, and just turn it every so often, just so that butter don't burn on the bottom. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start opening the remainder of my butter so that I can get it added to this pot, because actually it's melting at a pretty good pace. Just give it a turn, just so it don't burn. Turn so it don't burn. While this is melting, there are two ways that you can your butter, okay? Now, some people, and I'm going to show you the different points of where you can stop, okay, when it comes to canning butter. But I always take it a step further, because I like to be absolutely certain that the butter is going to be safe for us, okay? So, when this melts, and it comes to like a little simmer, not a rolling, not a hard boil, but like a little simmer, then it's going to be hot enough to start to put it in hot jars, okay? And so you can either can this butter in a pressure canner, or you don't have to can it at all. The difference is that if I pressure can it, I know that it's good on my shelf for 5 years or so. Okay, before I was so rudely interrupted, I forgot where I was. But what I'll do is I will show you both methods as I get to that step, okay? Because I don't want to confuse anybody. So just to let you know ahead of time, if you don't want to can your butter, you will not need your pressure canner. You won't need a water bath canner. You won't need a canner at all, okay? But if you do want to can it, then you want to pull out your pressure canner, okay? But I'm going to show you those steps once we get to those steps, all right? Y'all stick around. All right, y'all. My butter is just about melted. I still have a couple of hunks and chunks in here, but it's still melting. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and turn my heat up to just about a medium, because I need this baby now to start simmering a bit, okay? I need it to get hot, because we're about to put this in some hot canning jars, so this butter needs to be hot. Just before it gets to a hard or rolling boil, it needs to have a simmer going, okay? Alright, we're going to give this another stir. This is heating up. This is heating up, y'all. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Continue to heat up. But we want to come back and give it a stir every now and then, okay? Alright. Giving that a stir. It's starting to get that foam on the top, which is fine. If you want, you can skim that foam off. I typically will skim the foam off of my butter, and it's just about at a nice little simmer, y'all. Now you can actually wait for this butter to get to a point where it starts to boil. It'll crack the surface of this foam, okay? It'll actually move the foam out of the way. Now, because we're getting so close to this, being ready to jar up. I've got my water heating up in my pressure canner. I got the fire down on low for that because I need that water in the bottom of the canner to be hot. Okay, so when I put the hot jars in, everything will be nice and hot. Okay, now I am grabbing me a spoon and a bowl, and I'm taking that foam off the top. Okay, I'm not gonna throw this away either. Whether you know it or not, once this settles down, y'all could add this to some baked potatoes or something. Put it in some oatmeal. It still got butter in it. That's flavor. If you want to leave the foam in, you can. It's not going to hurt your butter, okay? But I just think that, to me, it makes for a better product if I take the foam off the top. And as you can see, it's beginning to simmer, okay? So now we're at that simmering point that I was telling you about. It's not quite a rolling boil. It's just a light little simmer, okay? And it's breaking the surface of this foam, which is what I was telling you about earlier. It's starting to break the surface of the foam. And that's how you know this is ready to be put in jars, okay? And there we go. I'm still trying to grab foam. All right, y'all. Give that a stir. I'm gonna turn the fire off because this is ready to go in jars. Turn the fire off when it gets to that point. And I'm gonna stop right there with the foam so I can get this baby in some jars. Look at all of that. Yeah, we don't want it. Okay, my hot jars are out of the oven. My lids are back here simmering. I'm going to give this one more stir. Looks good. I don't need that spoon anymore. The water in my canner is good and hot. Now we can get to jarring this baby up. Okay, y'all. I'm going to put my funnel in my first jar. Grab my ladle. You will need vinegar for this, okay? Because you must clean the rims of these jars with vinegar. It's just like doing meat. You have to use vinegar to make sure the rims are good and clean. So let's go ahead and get this jarred up. I am going to leave a 1-inch headspace on these jars. I'm going to move on to the next one. And as you, once you're filling your jars, every now and then when you put your ladle back in the pot, be sure you give it a stir, okay? Because the solids in the butter will separate, okay? And you'll see that in the jar. They will separate, but if you just give it a stir, then you can make sure that everything is nice and mixed inside of the pot before you ladle it in the jar, okay? I'm almost done. Down to my last jars here. And I have a very little bit left in the bottom of my pot. Just a little. I'm just gonna put that in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator. So I have 13 pints of butter here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and take my vinegar and my paper towel. I gotta get these babies cleaned off, okay? Because we do not want any fat around, ooh, that's hot, around the rims of these jars, okay? Okay, all of my rims are clean. I'm gonna take this extra vinegar and dump it over into my canner. I'm gonna grab my lids that have been simmering in this water here. Yeah, it's still nice and hot. And I'm gonna get a lid on each and every one of these. All right, almost done. Another thing I wanted to add about this butter, if you're gonna pressure can this butter, then you can easily make a delicious garlic butter. All you would have to do is drop maybe like 1/4 of a teaspoon of some minced garlic, fresh garlic, about 1/4 of a teaspoon or however much you want. Drop it in here, and then you'll have yourself some garlic butter. What? Now I'm gonna go ahead and get my bands on. It's my handy dandy band holder. Get these in the canner. See that? Isn't that beautiful? Now you see the solids in the bottom? We're going to talk about that. Alright, so because I have 13 jars, I need to add another rack to the top of my canner, to the top of the jar, so I can get the rest of my jars in. And I'm gonna get the rest of them in the canner. Just sit them right on top. Okay. Now, if you didn't want to can your butter, you could stop at this point right here. And all you would have to do is just constantly shake your butter like this to keep the solids mixed, and then sit it back on the counter. And then you would want to come back in about 20 minutes or so, because the solids will start to settle a bit, and then you want to shake it again. And then you'll sit it back down on the counter until the jar is completely cool. Then you'll keep going back and mixing them up like this to make sure that that butter looks just like that, so that the solids will be mixed into the butter and not sitting at the bottom, okay? So, so it cut off on me, the camera, but I think I said that I'm not stopping at this point. I am putting mine in the pressure canner, and I am going to can this as though I was canning meat, because it is a fat, right? Has protein in it. So I'm gonna can this like I'm canning meat. So this is a pint-sized jar, and if I was canning chicken, I would be canning a pint-sized jar at 75 minutes. And for my altitude, it would be 10 pounds of pressure. But I'm getting ready to drop this in the pressure canner. Crank up the heat. On goes my lid. So again, this is gonna pressure can for me for for 75 minutes, okay? Pints are 75 minutes when you canning meat. 75 minutes on my butter. Yeah. So I am going to let this go ahead and process. Now some people even water bath can it for like 15 minutes or so, I believe it is. But again, y'all, I don't want to ever have to wonder when I open this butter. I know this butter is safe for my family to eat because I know I put it under pressure before I put it on my shelf. And the other thing is that if you don't can it at all and you just do it that method that I just showed you to make sure everything solidifies, the jars will seal if you don't can it because it's hot. So the jars will seal. The difference is if you do not can it, it will last you 6 months to maybe a year. I think some people have kept it 2 years that way, but it does have fat in it. And if it's not under pressure, it may go rancid, okay? But if you put it under pressure, I know this is gonna last me for a minimum of 5 years. I'll bring y'all back when I'm ready to take these babies out of the pressure canner. All right, you all, I just thought I would bring you all back real quick to show you the next step in pressure canning our butter. So now, I have these in the pot. I cranked up the heat to high to go ahead and start to build up pressure, and that's exactly what it has done. And now it is venting. It's venting. And what that means is out of the vent pipe, there is a steady flow of steam that is pushing out all of that air, right? So it's a steady flow of steam coming here. And this has to do this step, venting, for 10 minutes. So I have my timer set. After 10 minutes is up, and the timer goes off after 10 minutes, I'm going to come back and put my pressure regulator over this vent pipe here. And then I will allow this canner to build up to 10 pounds of pressure. Once it gets to 10 pounds of pressure, I'll reduce my heat. I will set my timer, and it needs to hold at 10 pounds, okay? Check your altitude to see what your altitude is, so you'll know at what pressure you need to can or process your low acid foods, okay? So for me, it is 10 pounds of pressure, all right? And this will process after I get the pressure regulator on and I'm at 10 pounds of pressure. This will process for 75 minutes, okay? And I'll bring y'all back. Okay, this is now going to start building to 10 pounds of pressure since I put the pressure regulator on. It won't take long. It'll be up just like that. And when it gets to 10 pounds of pressure, I'm going to start my timer for 75 minutes. I'm going to reduce this to a medium heat and then keep my eye on the gauge. And then after I make sure that I'm at 10 pounds, or if it keeps going up a little bit, I'll just reduce it a little bit more until I get to that sweet spot and allow this to hold between 10 11 pounds of pressure. So that's what we're doing next. Okay, y'all stay tuned. Okay, we're now at 10 pounds of pressure. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my heat down to a medium low. Go ahead and set my timer for 75 minutes. Okay, that's it. My 75 minutes is up. I'm going to turn off my timer. I'm going to turn off my pot. Now, Everybody who's been watching my canning videos, you already know what I'm about to say. And you are a newbie, a new canner, I'm talking to you. Do not touch this canner, okay? Let this canner sit right here. Reason being, this canner is still loaded with pressure. You don't want to go fiddle-daddling with this and everything go boom. Look, leave the can alone. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. When this canner comes down from pressure, this pressure gauge should be at 0. There is a nipple in the back that is up, right? When the pressure is no longer up in this canner, that nipple is gonna fall. 2 things to look for. The nipple is down, the gauge is at 0. When those 2 things happen, then and only then do you remove the pressure regulator and open this lid. All right, so the canning process is done. They are already pinging inside of the canner. I just need to open this canner up and get them on the counter. Okay, there we go. Let's get them out. Now, I'm going to take this off because my gauge is at 0 and the nipple is down in the back, so I can take this off, right? No boom boom, okay? Now, when you open your lid, for all of my new canners, when you open up the lid on a canner, you open it away from you so you don't get a face full of, steam, okay? Because I understand we like to cleanse the pores, but you don't want to peel off the skin. So make sure you open that lid away from you, okay? Do y'all hear that? They already sealing. Let's get them out of here. Oh. Y'all see that? This butter looks so good. I'm telling you, it looks so good. Y'all, I'm telling you. Y'all, this butter looks so good. So when my jars cool, I will be picking them up just like I did with my other jars, when I was showing you, and just giving them a turn to mix those solids up together. That's all, and I'll keep doing it until the jars are just about completely cool and the solids have settled all throughout the jar, okay? This was that foam and butter that was left over, and we've already used some because putting this on toast to go with spaghetti. Okay, so anyway, this is all done, and I have 13 pints of butter from 12 pounds of butter, right? Yeah. So y'all, that's basically it. That's how I can butter. But for everything else that I use butter for, everything, that's what I use my canned butter for. So I hope it helps. I hope it helps. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to our channel. So that's going to do it, you all, for today. Canning butter. Voila. Thank you all so much again for watching Homestead Heart. Thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers, new and existing. We appreciate all of your support. So thanks again for watching. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you, and we will see you in the next video.